In 2026, roughly 200 million people worldwide are living with macular degeneration, and in the United States alone, nearly 20 million adults aged 40 and over have it right now. And here is the most devastating part: previously undiagnosed disease accounted for nearly all cases of intermediate and late AMD, with 97.76% of intermediate cases and 94.12% of late AMD cases having no prior diagnosis. Nearly everyone who has this disease right now has no idea. Their vision is being stolen from the center outward quietly daily, and they are attributing the changes to needing new glasses, to aging, to screen fatigue. Today I am going to show you exactly what macular degeneration is, why it destroys central vision before you realize it is happening, the 7 early warning signs most people completely normalize, and the one simple home test that takes 30 seconds and could tell you right now whether your macula is already being damaged. Sign number 4 happens to millions of people every single day, and every single one of them has a different explanation for it, none of them correct. Macular degeneration is an eye disease that blurs your central vision. It happens when aging causes damage to the macula, the part of the eye that controls sharp, straight-ahead vision. The macula is a tiny but extraordinarily powerful region at the center of the retina, responsible for the sharp, detailed, color vision you use to read, recognize faces, drive, watch television, and see the world directly in front of you. AMD is the leading cause of permanent impairment of reading and fine close-up vision in people over 65. Dry AMD accounts for 80 to 90% of all diagnosed cases, and roughly 30% of adults over age 75 show signs of early-stage AMD. By the age of 75, roughly 1 in 3 people living in the United States will have some form of age-related macular degeneration. 1 in 3, and most of them do not know yet. Here are the 7 early warning signs your macula is already being damaged. Warning sign number 1 is straight lines that look slightly wavy or bent. This is one of the earliest and most reliable signs that the macula is being affected. When you look at a doorframe, a Venetian blind, a printed page, or a tiled floor, the lines appear slightly distorted, wavy, or bent where they should be perfectly straight. This distortion, called metamorphopsia, occurs because the macular cells responsible for processing straight lines are beginning to malfunction. Most people notice this intermittently at first, blinking and looking again to find the lines appear straight, and dismiss it as tired eyes or a momentary visual glitch. It is not. It is your macula sending its earliest distress signal. Warning sign number 2: a blurry or dark spot in the center of your vision. AMD can blur your central vision, making it harder to see faces, read, drive, or do close-up work like cooking or fixing things around the house. This blurring begins as a very subtle haziness at the very center of whatever you are looking at, not the edges of your vision, but the precise center. Reading becomes slightly difficult, not because the words blur at the edges, but because the word you are looking directly at seems slightly less sharp than it used to. Many people compensate by moving reading material closer or further away, or by increasing the font size on their phone for months before connecting it to a change in their eye health. Warning sign number 3: colors that appear less vivid or slightly washed out compared to how they used to look. The macula contains the highest concentration of cone cells, the light-sensitive cells responsible for color vision. As macular cells deteriorate, color perception in the central visual field begins to fade subtly. Colors that were once vibrant, particularly reds and yellows, appear slightly muted or less saturated. Most people attribute this gradual color change to aging, to their indoor lighting, or to their television's color settings, adjusting their environment to compensate, never realizing their macula is degrading. Warning sign number 4, and this is the one that millions experience and explain away every single day: needing significantly more light to read or do close-up work than you used to. A magazine that used to be perfectly readable in soft lamplight now requires you to move to a brighter lamp or to take it near a window. You find yourself turning on extra lights that you never needed before. You struggle with menus in dimly lit restaurants. Macular cells that are beginning to deteriorate lose their sensitivity to lower light levels first, requiring brighter illumination to perform the same task. This progressive light sensitivity is one of the most consistent early signs of AMD, and one of the most universally dismissed as normal aging. Warning sign number 5: difficulty recognizing faces, especially in lower light conditions. The macula is specifically responsible for the fine detail processing required to distinguish one face from another. As macular function declines, faces that are not directly under bright light begin to lose their distinguishing features. Patients describe a growing difficulty recognizing people until they are very close or in bright light, a change that is profoundly disorienting and socially isolating, that most attribute to poor memory or distraction rather than to their vision. Warning sign number 6: a sudden and dramatic worsening of central vision in one eye. This is the emergency warning sign of wet AMD, the more aggressive form of macular degeneration. Don't wait if you notice a sudden change in your vision, such as sudden dark spots, blurriness, or straight lines appearing bent or wavy. Time to treatment is the most important factor in preserving vision. Wet macular degeneration accounts for approximately 10% of all AMD cases but is responsible for 90% of legal blindness. In wet AMD, abnormal blood vessels grow under the macula and leak fluid and blood, causing rapid, severe central vision loss that can progress from normal vision to legal blindness within weeks if untreated. Any sudden unexplained change in the vision of one eye, blurring, dark spot, or distortion that was not there yesterday is a same-day ophthalmology emergency. Warning sign number 7: visual hallucinations, seeing patterns, shapes, or figures that are not there. Up to 25% of patients with advanced AMD report experiencing Charles Bonnet syndrome, visual hallucinations. When the macula stops receiving visual information, the brain does not simply go blank in the central visual field. It fills in the missing information with fabricated images, geometric patterns, faces, landscapes, or figures that appear completely real. These hallucinations are not a sign of psychiatric illness, they are a sign that the brain is compensating for significant visual input it is no longer receiving from a damaged macula. Most patients are too frightened or embarrassed to report this symptom, suffering in confused silence, when it is actually a well-documented consequence of advanced AMD. Now, the 30-second home test that reveals everything. It is called the Amsler grid, and you can find it by searching for it online right now. It is a simple grid of straight horizontal and vertical lines with a dot in the center. You cover one eye, focus on the center dot with the other eye, and ask yourself, do all the lines appear straight? Are there any areas that appear wavy, blurry, or missing? Test each eye separately. If any lines appear wavy or distorted, or if any part of the grid appears missing or blurred, you need to see an ophthalmologist that week. This test takes 30 seconds. It costs nothing, and it has helped catch AMD early in thousands of people who had no idea anything was wrong. Anti-VEGF injections can prevent further vision loss in over 90% of patients with wet AMD, and the ARDS 2 formula reduces the risk of vision loss in intermediate dry AMD by 25%. Early detection is not just helpful, it is the difference between preserved vision and permanent blindness. Quitting smoking can reduce the risk of developing AMD by up to 50%. A diet rich in dark leafy greens, colorful vegetables, and fish, regular exercise, and UV protective sunglasses outdoors are the most powerful lifestyle defenses against AMD progression. If this video helped you see something you have been missing, share it right now with everyone over 50 in your life, because 1 in 3 of them will have macular degeneration by age 75, and most will not know until the damage is already done. Subscribe and hit the bell, because in my next video I am going to reveal the disease that is silently destroying the nerves controlling your bladder, your digestion, your heart rate, and your sweat glands, a complication affecting millions of diabetics that nobody ever warned them about, and the 7 signs that appear before any test ever confirms it.